I don't even really understand what restorative justice means. I mean, the words escape me. Restorative justice. It seems like that means to put back something, right? To make it the way it was. And I'm not really clear on what they mean by that, what that means, right? Does it mean, what nature certainly has its own justice, right? The law of the universe has some, I suppose if you want to call it justice. I'm not really clear. If you go out here in the north at 40 below zero and you don't dress warm, you're going to freeze, right? That's the law of the universe. You can't break that law. That law will break you. And maybe that's what they mean by that. I'm not sure, right? Restoring that, but Lord, I'm not sure if that's the best thing for us, right? I'm not even clear what justice is. And maybe they mean going back and making it a community-based, letting people be involved with it. We've sort of given it away to experts now, right? If anything happens in our lives, we call the experts, right? Call the police or call that. If something happens, if somebody breaks the law, let them take care of it. They're the experts. Let the judge do it, right? Let that. And maybe restorative means getting people involved again in it. If that's the case, then that's a good idea. People have been cut out, right? And I was thinking about this on the way here. We're so removed from that. We've somehow allowed ourselves to be removed from being responsible, right? Being responsible. You know what I thought of when I came out here? I thought, I sat in a meeting a while ago, right, with a group of people, and it was about young people. It was about youth, right? And it started out. It was a tobacco and substance reduction strategy meeting. And I sat there and thought, and I listened to people, and there's a lot of people from the government that were there. And, I looked around the room and I thought, everybody that's in this meeting today is paid, right? Being paid to be here. And I looked around and thought, there's actually only 3 or 4 of us here that are not, And so I heard people talking, and it kind of it made its way around to them youth, right? Them youth. And it kind of made me a little irritated to hear that, right? And I thought about it, and I thought, and I said, eventually I said, they were talking about drug reduction, and I said, why would you want to reduce drugs, right? And the woman said to me, what? Drugs. I said, oh, I know what drugs are. I know what they are. But what I'm asking is, why would you want to reduce them? Why would you make this big effort to reduce them? She said, well, drugs, they're bad for you, right? They're bad for families. They're bad for society. I said, but the drugs aren't the problem, right? The drugs are the symptom. And why are we trying to beat up the problem? Why are we spending all this time and energy beating the problem up, when we need to, or rather the symptom up, when we need to go and deal with the problem? And it seems like we do that. Like as a society, it seems like we spend all kinds of time and energy, trying to beat up the symptom, right? And we never get to the problem. We don't look at the problem because, this is my own opinion, if we look at the problem, we'll see a mirror and it will point back to us, right? And if we want to punish youth, we need to look at ourselves. If we're saying the youth are screwed up, well, who made them screwed up? How did they become that way? And, as I was coming out here, like I said, I started thinking about that and thought, if we want to do something about crime or about youth and all that, we should punish ourselves. We're the ones, we're the adults, we're the responsible ones, right? We did this. So now if we want to really get somebody for how the youth are today, punish ourselves. Smarten ourselves up. Because in this meeting, people said, I said, you know why? I can tell you what the problem with youth is today, okay? It's us. It's adults. I said, we say to youth, we want you to be honest. But are we honest? That we say to the youth, I want you to show respect. Do we show respect to one another or to youth? We say, we want you to, do this, but we don't do that. So, truth is, we say we want the youth to do this and that, but we're hypocrites because we ourselves don't do it. We exemplify the very thing that we tell them not to be. So it's an interesting thing, right? We want them to change. We don't want them to. Maybe it's because they make us look at ourselves. Maybe it's because they become the mirror for us. Maybe they show us our own shit and we don't like the look of it. And we're famous for, trying to paint over it and make it look good. We're famous for that as a society.